So if you've been following the news, you know that the Caldor Fire is burning through California. It was particularly bad maybe a couple weeks ago, and thanks to the efforts of firefighters, it's actually apparently being a little bit more contained. But during our trip from San Francisco into the Eastern Sierras, we had no option but to go around the fire somehow. Now, we looked at all the options. Some of them were completely not doable for a camper our size. Then one of the more natural routes, which is Yosemite National Park, would require reservation. We were late for that, which then left us with two options. I-80, which is a main interstate and a relatively easy drive, and State Route 88, which is a more complicated drive but still doable for a camper. State Route 50 would have been an option too, but that one was actually closed because of the fire. So what that came down to is drive on I-80 and get all of the smoke blown onto us, because essentially that's the direction the wind was pushing the smoke, or drive on State Route 88, which was actually pretty close to the fire, but in the other direction relative to the wind. So being upwind from the fire made it a little bit safer. So in this video, we're just going to show you what our experience was driving on State Route 88 just upwind from the fire. Wildfires are a very serious deal, obviously, and if you need information on them, I'm going to link the Cal Fire website below, and I'll also link Caltrans so you can see up-to-date information on the roads that are open or not for when you're planning your own trip. Obviously, the best is to not travel at all, but when there was no option for us. So without further ado, let's have a look at our experience crossing State Route 88 next to the Caldor Fire. So everything started like a normal drive through beautiful forest. The sun was shining, the trees were green, it was great. There were signs saying that El Dorado National Forest was closed, but we were expecting that. Then, out in the distance, we saw it looked like a big cloud, very low to the ground. And then we noticed it wasn't a cloud. There are helicopters flying overhead. We think they were taking water to the fire. And as the smoke plumes became more and more obvious, we could tell we were approaching the main part of the fire.
That out there, those are not clouds. That's smoke from the Caldor Fire, which is just north of us. Luckily, the wind is coming from my back here. I think south-southwest, which is pushing the fire away from us. Pretty terrifying stuff. Definitely not going to spend any time in this forest. We're getting out of here as soon as we can.
It does look like we're driving straight into the fire, which is terrifying.
We're going to focus on the lake.
Focus on the water.
Yeah. It makes me feel safe.
Okay, so now it definitely smells like smoke, and they're driving through the very edge of the plumes here. We know it's drivable because we just saw people coming from the other direction. It's still kind of terrifying though.
But Theo's doing great. Theo's a goddamn hero.
We're surviving. It smells like a campfire, like you're right next to a campfire. But we're like probably 20 miles from the nearest actual fire.
Oh, there's a mountain there. Jesus Christ.
We could see it before, and now it's gone.
This is so weird.
It's like orange. At 6 p.m. in summer. Yeah, it's interesting, like it seems like whenever we're in a valley or any kind of low ground, the smoke kind of gets stuck. I mean, look at the sun right now. Like, but then you go to the tops of the mountains and you're above the smoke. It's like it sits lower. You'd think smoke would be hot and would climb.
Yeah, but it's probably heavier.
I guess, yeah, it must have a lot of particulate or something. Just get stuck in the pockets. Well, we made it past the Sierras. Took State Route 88, which is still open despite the fire, and it took us pretty close to the fire, but we made it out.
We're super stoked because the truck did really, really well. Tried to overheat a couple of times, but nothing terrible. I spoke too soon. We ended up having to stop to cool down on 89, which is supposed to be the easier part of the drive, but such is life. So I greatly underestimated literally everything about this drive because we thought that 88 was going to be the difficult route, but it connects to another route called 89, and then there's a second pass that you don't find out about until you're like in the hole, and then you have to go up that one, and it's actually taller than the previous. So on 88 you go to like 8,000 and some change. On 89 you actually go to like 8,300 feet, and then the way down is this complete madness downhill situation. Our truck being diesel, it can hold a little bit of engine braking, but it's not great. So then the brakes are overheating, and then on top of that, I think at some point, because of the engine braking, I ended up overstraining the alternator. There was some stress involved. I'm not gonna name names or anything, but we did okay. And let's just say we were shaking a little bit, and everybody's gonna have some comfort food now. So, okay guys, we survived this one. Most importantly, I survived another day. So, so some hamburger helper, maybe some beer, and we're gonna kick back a little bit because it's been a day.